Well, welcome back again to another episode of Music with Tony. And I'm Tony, your host. And today we're going to go through some music theory again. So every episode from here on out, for the most part, will be I'll be doing a little bit of music theory in the beginning, just to keep it fresh and and to be able to introduce some new scales, and maybe some new chords. I'm going to kind of do both the fingerings and the theory behind it. So today we're going to do the scale of B flat. And I know you're probably thinking, why? It's okay. Like I've said in the past, though, flat sharps, regulars, it's all just notes. And it shouldn't be scary whether it has a flat sign or a sharp sign. And sometimes as musicians, we were taught that way. And it doesn't need to be that way. So, all right. So today on our circle of notes, I got them all highlighted as far as the key of B flat. So our root note, which is going to be B flat today. So that's going to be the root note, which starts here. So we're going to go from, B flat, and then C is our second, D is our third, E flat is our fourth, then we've got F is our fifth, G is our sixth, and then our seventh is all the way back around to A. A. So that's our scale, pulling it off the circle of notes, which the circle of notes includes all 13 notes in what our scale of music, which is pretty much every, at least in our American culture. I know in other cultures they do have sometimes what they call quarter notes, or like other, a whole different ball game. But this is our system. And this is what, when you listen to a song on the radio or any kind of melody, this is based off of everything you're going to hear is one of these notes or multiple notes. So this is just the circle of notes that actually kind of encompasses all of that. So from here, you can pull any one of your scales, any one of your 13 scales, and then any chords for each individual scale. So today, like I said, is B flat. So we're going to go over to my other chart here, which this shows the actual scale itself of B flat. So, it shows you the roots, the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. And so this you can figure out any kind of chord, like formulas, like B major seventh, or B flat major seventh, or B flat minor. Like here we have B flat, which is a 1 3 5, and then B flat minor, which is a 1 flat 3 5. So here is, you can take a good look at this, and this is the scale of B flat for today. So I will show you the B flat chord because it is a bar chord. And it is also a movable bar chord, which it just means that you can move it fret to fret all the way up and down the board, and you can play pretty much any note. B flat, then you can go to B, C, A, all the notes in its own pattern just by sliding, which I'll show on my guitar here shortly. All right, so we're gonna move on to the chord fingerings. I did want to show this. This is the chord chart formulas. So if you're wondering, like, now that you've seen the scale and you're like, okay, well, what's, how do I make like a major chord or a minor or diminished, or, we have susses on here. This is the formula. So 1 3 5, 1 flat 3 5, it's a minor. So you can pull from this, and this is just a few of them. There's actually many, many, many chords you can make that you can pull off the scale and kind of get way more in depth. But this is the basics of a lot of these chords are what's played in most commonly. Majors, minors, major sevenths, susses, the fourth sus, and sus 2. So, yeah. All right, we'll move on here to the fingering charts for on guitar. So for this, I will pull my guitar out. You may notice, obviously, on my guitar, there's a lot of stickers and decorations and stuff, and I really like to make my instruments, whatever it is, all the different ones I've had throughout the years. I put my own personality to it, and because it's part of me, it's part of the expression of music and things that I represent or believe in, and plus I like something different. I like having detail on my guitar. So yeah, most of these are stickers I put on a lot of years ago, and then through the years I just kind of add on as we go along. All right, so I'm going to show the B flat chord here. So I don't have it labeled on here, but this is actually a bar chord. So what we have here is the E string. That X means it's muted. If you ever see an O on here on these charts, it just means that string is open. So for this particular one, oops, I lost my mic. Okay, so we're going to move on now to the chord charts. And this here is a B flat. You may notice that there's no, I don't have a bar chord written on here, but this is actually a bar chord because you are barring the frets, and that's what's making the note. So there's no open chords in this. So the E string is muted, along with actually the other E string is muted. And so these numbers right by the dots that I have are your fingers. So your first finger is going to kind of bar the whole thing. And then I use my third finger to bar those three. Now, there's not like a set pattern of how you can do that. If you can reach your second, third, and fourth fingers to do that, to reach, like that, that's okay. I mean, however you can get it, especially if you got longer fingers. I kind of got little short guys here, so barring is the only option for me. So this is also what's called a movable pattern bar chord. So this is a B flat, and then if we were to take it up another fret, that would be a B, and then so forth and so on. So C all the way, you can go all the way up the neck with it, and you can play you can make any chord you want. So you can go back and forth to it, and it will have the same chord like as an open chord. Like it'll be a little bit different, like because the bar chords, they sound okay when if you have to do them, but it takes a lot of practice too to be able to mute the strings and not hit any of the other ones, and get these strings, all three of those, to where they're not like that. And when if you're first starting out, that's going to be pretty normal. You're going to be kind of working through figuring out your fingering and what pressure to push down and how to take part of your finger and release it a little bit, to let it open up a string. So it's going to take some practice with the bar chords, but it's a good thing to do. And, it's a workout for your hands. There's no doubt about that, but it is worthwhile because you'll just expand your horizon of playing, and you won't be limited to just like, G, C, and D, and E minor. Nothing wrong with those chords, because those are in about probably 90% of the songs that you hear and have heard. But it's nice to do something different, to add in, or play different versions to where you can bar chords. So anyway, it's a good thing to practice through. So don't be discouraged is what my point is. So when you are practicing these, don't get discouraged because it's sounding like that. It's okay. You're going to get there, because you're going to go from that to that. Eventually you'll start getting it, and your fingers, you'll just know how much pressure to put, and then you can just work your way up the board. And that's where the fun starts, because then you're really you're able to you know, play all kinds of, even if you're doing covers and stuff, you can do, you know, any note. It doesn't matter, any chord. You're not afraid of tackling sharps or flats, which really are not that big of a deal. Once you learn your circle of notes and your theory, it's really not that big of a deal. It's just, you know, it's just finger, like remembering, you know, on your fretboard, like learning your notes and stuff, you know. You know, just little things. So that's part of like one of the scale walk downs. You know, you could do that. It used to be an exercise I would do. At some point, I'll actually write that out because it is a good exercise for starting off. It will help you learn your scales. And all it is just a progression of, you know, like if you're starting off with your root note, then you got your root note, second, third, you know, then fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then back to the root again. So yeah. So that's the B flat chord. Now I have a few other chords that I'm going to show, and they're pretty basic. You know, the D chord, like a regular D chord. This is really most common. It's in, you know, pretty much all the music you hear, and so it's just it's a pretty standard chord. So you'll want to learn this. So the strings 6, 5, and 4 are muted. I'm sorry, 6 and 5. This is open, so your open D string. And then here you have your fingers, the first 3 and second, which goes like this. So that's what it should sound like. A nice clear D chord. Now the next one, and the makeup of the formula for the D chord is a 1-3-5. So you can go through your scales and figure out what, you know, your D scale is, and then from there you can pull out what your 1-3-5 is through that. So here I'm going to do the D major 7th. This is one of my favorite chords. I really love the major 7th sound. It has a very melodic, very soothing, very kind of jazzy, bluesy kind of sound to it. And depending on the progressions you use it in, it has such a different flavor, and it's one of my absolute favorite chords. So I incorporate it a lot in the music that I write because it's a nice sounding chord. So this is the D major 7th. And so the formula for this is a 1-3-5-7 in the scale of D. So here we have a muted E string, the muted A string. You're going to have an open D string. And then I usually bar it with 3 fingers, or with 1 finger, I'm sorry, the first finger. And then you can play it a few different ways, but again, it's all personal preference, you know, however you're comfortable with putting your fingers to make that happen. So I will play this for you. So D major 7th. So that's a D. And then here's a major 7th. It's got a really cool tone to it, you know. So it should sound like. So that's what it should sound like. Then the last one I have here is a D2. Now the technical for this formula is a D2 sus, but I just call it a D2 because it's really just a D2. It's the pattern for this, the formula is a 1-2-5. And so, yeah, that's a 1-2-5. And then here you got a muted E string, a muted A string. And then you got your open D string. And then here you got your second and third fingers is what you're using. And I'll play that. So So it's a nice little tone to it. So if you do the 3 of those chords, D, D2, and a D major 7th, it's got a cool combination. You know, you can play around with those combinations and stuff. And I like this particular combination. So this is going from a D to a D major 7th to a D 7th to a D 6th. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. And then that's a D6. So it's a cool chord combination. Doing that little walk down. It's very popular too, especially like back in the day, you know, the 60s and 70s. It was a very common progression. You could hear it where they just did a nice walk down throughout the music. So yeah, it's pretty neat. So I hope this helps you and you know, in getting to know music theory and trying to understand it a little better. So if you have any questions, I'm trying to be very clear with everything. If you have any questions, though, you can email me at musicwithtonyshow@gmail.com and ask your questions. If you're curious about a chord or something that I played, you can feel free to ask. Or if you're wondering about a scale that we haven't gone over, you can feel free to, you know, go over, you know, ask me any questions about that. Because it's pretty fun once you start getting to know music theory. It opens up a whole new world of being able to play music, but understand what you're playing is really the amazing thing about it. You know, at the end of the day, and it's just very cool the stuff you can create. So if you're dabbling into starting to get into songwriting or you do songwrite, it's really you know what I mean. It's cool to be able to express yourself with certain chords. And so I'm going to play a few songs now, and some of the songs that have some of my favorite chords in them. So one of these is going to incorporate that D major 7th. This song is called Fly Me Away, and I really like it because it's kind of got like a jazzy feel. It switches from major chords to minor chords, and then I do like half steps and kind of in between, and it's just kind of fun though. And so don't be afraid to like step out and try something. You know, if you're sitting in your room or in your living room and, you know, you're just like going, you know, hey, make a song out of it. Get creative. Have fun with it. You know, that's the whole point of music. You know, have fun. Don't like be so technical about it that you drive yourself nutty, because, I mean, it's really... it can be overwhelming with the music theory part, but you know, it'll take time. Once you get there, though, it's really easy. It really is. And once you start understanding it, and it's very numerical too. So if you're good with numbers and you're good with, you know, math, it's really kind of also a good exercise. You know, your brain is thinking a lot about what's going on, chords, and then think about notes on your fretboard, where they're at, you know, and that kind of stuff. So, all right, here we go. This is called Fly Me Away. Fly me away, fly me away, fly me away, that I can be with you. Fly me away, well, fly me away, that I can be with you. Well, to the place where I can find your love, ooh yeah, once again. fly me away. Well, fly me away. Fly me away, that I can be with you. Fly me away. Fly me away, that I can be with you. To the place where I can find your love once again. Oh yeah, once again. Well, I can fly high. Yeah, fly with you, yeah. So it's got some fun little hits in there and stuff. It's a cool little tune that I wrote a long time ago, one of the early songs. It's funny, I went through a phase, probably of a few years, where I wrote just a ton of music. It just was pouring out like water, you know. And it was shortly after I gotten saved, and I dedicated my life and music to God, and it was really cool to see what has come out of all that, you know. And it was way more than what I ever expected or could have imagined. And I never thought I'd be able to express myself through a musical instrument, which is just even more so pretty wild. But to be able to share in front of people, that's a whole nother ball game. Believe it or not, I'm not a people person. I've always been shy and, shy just period. As a teenager, as a kid, I've always just kind of been quiet, and this really pulled me out of my shell. And especially like playing in front of like coffee houses, or the one church I played at was like 3,000 people. I mean, being on the worship team and stuff, it was huge. And like I stopped being nervous and stuff. In the very beginning I was nervous. Like, I remember the first thing I ever did, it was with my band. I just formed at the time, and I was so nervous. So we went to this place called Liberties, and it was over by Detroit area. And it was just a place, it was like a homeless shelter where people would come in off the streets and can get food for the day and hang out. And so we go over there and do music. And I was so nervous the first time I played there that I actually turned around, so my back was faced to the folks, and like I was facing the band most of the time. I was so nervous, and I realized I can't do that, but that's how nervous I was, though. So, sometimes it's hard stepping out into playing in front of people and stuff. It can be difficult, but it's good though, and it's worth it to be able to share, what you have inside to share, because we all have a gift of whatever it may be. Some people it's art, some people it's music, and we were meant to share those things. We weren't meant to keep it and bury it, in the dirt. We were meant to give it so it can encourage other people and be able to help other people, and so anyway, share your gifts, don't be afraid. And even if you are a little bit nervous, it's okay. You're going to be all right. And there's times where I got up, even as a seasoned musician, where I've forgotten both the words and the chords at the same time. And it is kind of like, oh geez, embarrassing, but it's like it happens. I mean, it really is it's okay though. It's part of the experience, and you got to have fun with it and laugh at it, not like get uptight, because it's going to happen at some point to any musician. And that's all right, all right. So this next song is called Faith. And this was a song I started writing, and then I hit a block. Like I couldn't finish the song. Like I tried and tried, and then I put it away, and I think I came back to about 6 or 7 years later. Maybe it was 5 or 6. It was a matter of years that I came back to it and finished it, and so it was really. Then once I finished it, I actually got it recorded and stuff. It was really cool. Um, so it's got some cool walks in there and stuff, and chord progressions, and it's a lot of fun. So here we go. Well, I can't run and I can't hide. I can only go to my secret place. Yeah, there I'll find you. Harder I try, the more I fall. Yet I get up again and again. Lord, 'cause you're my strength. Come to lonely place, you can stand in your presence, for we are the dust. Walk in my faith, I find the way, yeah. Walk in my faith, I find the way. Lord, back to you. Ooh, whoa, whoa. Walking by faith, I find the way, yeah. Walking by faith, I find the way. Lord, please help me from going astray. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today on Music with Tony, and I hope that you got something out of the chords and out of the music theory part of it, and that you'll be able to apply it and start using it. And I hope it will help you to start doing some leads, guitar leads, and playing bass. Knowing music theory with playing bass it's like key to playing bass. One of the keys anyway. Of knowing where you're going and what you're hitting. So, yeah, well, thank you for joining us again. And, as always, and I mean this wholeheartedly, like if you have prayer requests, please email me. And I have folks who are praying with me on this. And, if you have needs, big or small, just feel free to, ask for, some prayer help. And, we'll be here, and if you have any questions on any of the guitar chords or music, please feel free to ask at any point. Write me a letter or make a comment on the YouTube site. So, yeah, the email again is musicwithtonyshow@gmail.com. And I just want to say I hope you have a wonderful day today and a good rest of your week, and that you would stop and smell the roses, just kind of smell the fresh air, as you're going down a dirt road, or smell the trees, or, smell the fragrances in the air, and, or catch a sunset or a full moon. Just some simple things in life. Even if you just take like 5 seconds or 30 seconds and just observe, it's just life is worth living, and there's so much more than to our busy lives. Because I know everything gets busy, especially if you got families and stuff. Taking care of the kids and driving everywhere and working, and it's hard to stop and slow down. But every now and then it's nice to do. So God bless you folks, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thank you again.